We're gonna switch gears, Vinny. We gotta go to the I know you're the expert when talking basketball, and I live in the state of Kansas, and you live in Kentucky. And we had this in our chat with BS3, our BS3 group, and a thing came to my mind about blue bloods, because this talk of blue bloods, this is a blue blood, that's a blue blood. What is your definition of a blue blood? And I like what you put, man. Can you explain who is a blue blood? Who you consider the blue bloods? Are there tiers to these? Are there levels to these blue bloods? What is blue bloods?
To me, I think it was this sun messing up I got this sun kind of hit me.
Yeah.
Move back a little bit, maybe there.
Okay, I can see you a lot better.
My fault. I just read it's popping right through this window. But to me, the blue blood is you got tradition, success, and you sustain it, for decades, where you just been around and everybody knows you're good, and it's just kind of, that's just how it is. That's how it always has been. Mm-hmm. That's what these programs have done. And it's only a few. I sent a list, or if somebody put number of weeks in the AP AP poll.
Yeah.
But Kentucky has been around. And it's to me, it even means more if you've done it with more than one coach. Because we got to see what Duke's gonna do when K leaves. Mm-hmm. What Syracuse gonna do when Boeheim leaves? Now they've been up there, but it's just been one dude doing that for 40 years.
Right.
UConn kind of fell off after Calhoun left. Kevin Ollie got one, but they're not really in the mix like they used to be. So Kentucky, we have Rupp. Kentucky's won 8 national championships with 5 different coaches. Mm-hmm. Rupp won 4, and Joe Hall wins 1. Rick Pitino wins 1. Tubby Smith wins 1. Coach Cowles won 1. And Joe Hall came behind Adolph Rupp. He just passed away last Saturday before last. And from Kentucky, pressure, he integrated, brought Kentucky into the modern era as far as integrating them, because they're a little slow to do that before him. He hired Leonard Hamilton as his top assistant, who's Florida State's coach now, to continue bringing African-American players. If it goes sideways with Joe B and he doesn't win a title, doesn't get to multiple Final Fours, Kentucky might not be the Kentucky we know. I mean, it was a fork in the road where you follow this legend and maintain, or you could kind of fall into oblivion, like Indiana. They're still considered the blue blood, but what have they done since Bobby Nice left? They
come on, bro. Yeah,
they're on the list. They still got a lot of appearances in the AP poll and all that, but their last title, 1987. I was 9 years old when they was, what I'm saying? So Kentucky has sustained it. North Carolina's been there. Dean Smith, Roy Williams has won titles. Kansas has sustained it. Larry Brown won in '88. Bill Self won in '08. And then back in with Wilt, they've been a power for decades. So those to me are in the 3. UCLA gets in there, and you can't knock the fact that they have 11. Right. And they won 10 in a row. Nobody did that. Nobody could mess with Witten. And look, they got Alcindor and Walton back to back, and they had other good players, but that was the core to that dynasty from the 60s and the 70s. But they haven't done anything since. They won 1 in '95, but they kind of just holding on. I mean, nobody's won 10 in a row. Don't knock it. But as far as sustaining it and spreading it out like everybody else, they haven't. But they're still in the mix for what they did. But I still put Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina even a little bit more than them, even though UCLA got more titles than everybody else.
Man, you just brought up a good point. And you really just broke down the history of sustainability, because we try to put Duke in that tier, but they've only done it with only one coach.
Yeah, Coach K.
Coach K. You look at Indiana, they did it with one coach, Bobby Knight. You look at UCLA, they won their titles with they won 10 with Woodard and one in 95.
Yeah, Jim Herrick got one.
Jim Herrick, yeah. I know in that chat we said Michigan State. It pretty much has been it's been the Izzo show mostly, and then you had the year with Irvin Magic.
Judd Heathcote got one. Yeah.
Thank you. Boeheim got one. So really, if we probably need to put this into tiers. Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky is really should be like the creme de la creme. And then you put like Duke, your Michigan States in there, your UCLA, your Indiana, your Syracuse, and then we might need to have the conversation about putting Gonzaga in there next. Gonzaga and Villanova, because Gonzaga has done it with one coach, with a pretty much Mark Few, but to be in the AP this consistently, especially like the last 7 or 8 years, to be in the top 10, they need to probably be in that tier two, almost tier 3.
Yeah,
what you think of Gonzaga?
I'll give them a title of being a power or powerhouse.
Let's talk about powerhouse. Hold on.
They haven't won a title yet.
Okay.
They got there and got ran. Baylor got them last year.
Yeah, Baylor smoked them.
So, I don't know if I can call you a blue blood if you don't have one. I mean, what he's done is remarkable because 20 years ago, nobody knew who Gonzaga was, and for those old enough, John Stockton was the only thing people knew about Gonzaga. That's it.
That's it.
So, you gotta give him credit, and everywhere I move, his son keep getting him out.
Yeah, I see that.
It's probably better that y'all can't see me. The viewers will be like, "Yeah, keep the sun in his face. We don't want to see." But Gonzaga hasn't won a title. And think about this now with Syracuse, they got the one in 03 with Melo. Jim Boeheim been there 45 years. And it didn't happen. If Keith Smart misses that jumper, Boeheim has 2. Everybody looks at him completely different.
Yeah.
He takes one from Bobby Knight. People look at him a little bit different.
Yeah.
Just because of that one little baseline jumper.
Right.
Because you give Boeheim his props for longevity, and they're a good team pretty much every year. He finally got his title, and that was good for him. But I'm not trying to be rude, but Coach Cal has done in 10 years what Boeheim is. Coach Cal's 10 years at Kentucky is the same as Boeheim's 40 plus at Syracuse. And probably more Final Fours. Cal's been in more Final Fours than Boeheim.
Right.
Syracuse went 96. Well, they lost to Kentucky in the title.
They lost to Patino. Yeah. They won. They're not gonna count it, but I count it. Memphis, when he took Derrick Rose and that particular team to the Final Four.
Right. But his 10 at Kentucky is every bit as holds as much weight as what Boeheim's done at Syracuse. I don't mean throw shade, but that's just kind of the way I look at it. It is what it is, Jim.
It is what it is, yeah. So I like when you said powerhouse, because we need to level this as blue bloods, the creme de la creme, the powerhouses, and then we need the up and coming. So your up and coming would be like your mid majors. Shucks, I said I was gonna say Wichita, but that's probably my favorite team, Wichita State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a wee shot person.
Okay.
Up and coming Creighton. Dana Altman, had that program going. Now McDermott is the coach, and they're consistently. So I would say up and coming with them.
Mm-hmm. I gotta look. They're the rival, but I'd be remiss not to say Louisville because they won in 80 and 86 with Denny Crum.
Right.
And then Patino, the banner got taken down, but they won in 2013.
We know about
So Denny Crum was there from I think 72 to 99 from some seven, and of course Louisville's having a lot of issues right now. But that's 3 titles with 2 coaches, so they get in the blue blood tier as well. They get,
okay.
I believe they're not up and comer because they've been around for a long time. They're not like Kentucky, Carolina, Kansas, but they're still in the blue blood mix.
Okay, so we should say so let's rework this. So we got tier 1, North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky. And I love matter of fact, I love the connection of those 3 schools. I'm gonna tell you about that in a moment. Tier 2, Louisville, Indiana, Syracuse, UCLA, Michigan State. I'm missing somebody. We just talked about. Shucks. I got those, at least those 5, and then your powerhouse teams would be like a Gonzaga, a Baylor. I'm not ready to put Baylor into that blue blood conversation yet. Baylor,
Villanova, because they got 3 now because they won in 85, and then Jay Wright got 2.
Yeah. So they be blue blood. They be tier 2 blue blood.
Yeah, I can give them that. I can give them that.
Okay. Yeah. So that's so. And what's crazy about, and I was trying to. I'm a historian when it comes to sports and connecting people and coaches and reading about it. Like I love the story about Leonard Hamilton, how he was the first Black assistant at Kentucky to bring Black players in, and I didn't even, and just the connection between him, Coach Hall, Eddie Sutton, Henry Iber, all goes back to Kansas. Like I didn't realize Rupp came from Kansas. Yeah. I didn't realize I knew Dean Smith and Bill Guthridge came from Kansas, but I didn't realize the connection with like Henry Iber, who coached at Oklahoma State, Eddie Sutton, all that connects back to the founding of basketball in Kansas. So for Kansas Jayhawks not to be number 1, a powerhouse and a blue blood, and you the founder of basketball, we got problems.
That's right. Yeah, because what Naismith straight to Fog Allen, right?
Yeah, it was Naismith, then Fog, yeah.
Yeah, and then everything kind of sprouted from there as far as Rupp and everybody kind of branched out of Kansas on to wherever they went. Yeah.
Right. And I and it just blew my mind. I said, and then I saw Iber. I said, wait a minute, Iber, because Coach Sutton, I was reading about Sutton. He had an option to go to KU, if I'm not mistaken, but Iber came at the last minute, and something happened where he I don't know if it was the scholarship got revoked by Allen, and then he that's when he ended up at Oklahoma State. I can't remember the whole story, but Sutton ended up going play under Iber and learn from him, and then to go to Kentucky, and then that field, and then North Carolina, all of that tradition with like Dean Smith and George Karl and Larry Brown and Roy Williams, all that intertwining and stuff, man. And then Pitino. Actually, like the first time I started watching like Kentucky basketball was when Pitino won in '96. And I became a huge Kentucky Wildcat fan. I was already, when I was younger, a Jayhawk fan because I liked Jock Vaughn at the point guard. They had Rafe. That's when Roy was the coach. That's the year before they really should have won it in '97. But they got and that was heartbreaking for me as a child, losing to Arizona in the Sweet 16. But when they had Jock and I think Rafe was LaFrance. I think LaFrance was like a sophomore. They had Scott Pollard. Paul Pierce was a freshman at that time. Like that team was stacked. But y'all, '96 team, y'all had Mercer and y'all had Wayne Turner, who was a starter like all 4 of his years. Scott Padgett, if I'm not, I think Padgett was on the team.
Padgett was on that one. Tony Delk.
Tony Delk with Antoine Walker.
Walker. Walter McCarty,
all them boys, yeah.
Mark Pope, who's coaching BYU now, was a center on that team. Anthony Epps, Jeff Shepard, it was, and some of those guys was there on the '98 team too. But yeah, it was '96 and '97 was, that was kind of heartbreaking for them to lose to Arizona. And Arizona is on this list, but I don't really give them blue blood status. They won one title with Lute Olson, and they haven't really done anything since he retired. Sean, the
They powerhouse. They powerhouse.
Yeah.
Powerhouse.
They've been good, had good teams, make some runs in the tournament, and they've been around. They got tradition, but they haven't worked their way up to the like the other teams we're talking about. You talk about Larry Brown. I guess the last time Kansas came to Lexington, I think, because every couple of years they play in this SEC Big 12. I want to think it was 2017. Kansas came to Rupp and they won.
Yeah,
and I got to cover that game, and so I left my seat there where the media was, and I was just down just off the bench to the tunnel, right where the team goes to the tunnel, and just look over, and there's Larry Brown standing there. I'm like,
come on.
Holy crap, that Larry Brown. So you try to keep yourself together. You try to get it cool, even though you freak. Oh. So I just spoke to him, asked him how you doing. Hey, how you doing, coach? And he said, I'm doing fine. And he's talking about I'm torn when I'm watching this because I love both of these guys. I love Bill Self. Cal was an assistant of mine. I love both of these guys. So I'm watching this, but I'm kind of torn. So I ain't bothering. I wasn't trying to just like talking to death. But it was cool just chatting it up real quick for a little second with Larry Brown.
Yeah. And I forgot to say, because Calipari started his coaching career at KU. Like that's like when I learned that, I said, man, bro, this stuff. When you and then they see on your resume, oh, you started at Kansas, or Kentucky. You sat under D. Larry Brown, bro.
So twice. Then was with him with the Sixers too.
Yeah.
I think after he got fired by the Nets.
Yeah.
He went and worked for him with Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
So, he was an assistant with him in Philadelphia. So he was talking about that. As a matter of fact, yesterday on his call-in show, I think a caller called in and just asked him, because before Cal got there, I knew who Joby Hall was. He was the first coach of Kentucky that I remember as a 6, 7, 8-year-old. 84, they went to the Final Four against Georgetown, which that's another team that's kind of started off because on this list and then faded after John Thompson. But they lost to Georgetown in the Final Four, and that's kind of the first one of my vaguest memories of Kentucky basketball. Kind of some of those players, and then the next year I think he stepped down. So he was still living in Kentucky, still kind of around, but Pitino didn't really bring him embrace him like that.
Wow.
Cal went out of his way to bring him back in, to have him at practice, to have him at the games, to have him as a part of everything. A lot of people, the older people, kind of think, Pitino came in, they were on probation. He was kind of trying to turn the program around. And I guess in his mind, a lot of stuff from the past was just kind of, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to leave it alone. So he kind of put a wall up. I'm here to get this thing right. And so I can get that. You don't understand, I guess, from his point of view, why he was kind of like that. But Cal went out of his way to bring Joe B in and have him around at shoot-arounds and all this for Cal's been here 13 years, for 10 or 11 years, for the past couple of years when Coach Hall's health really started to decline. But a caller called into the call-in show last night and said, tell us about, you going out of your way to embrace Joe B. Why did you do that? You really made him a part of it. We appreciate it. Just speak to it if you want to, as to what, was your motivation and your reasoning for that. And he point blank said, this goes straight back to Larry Brown. He said, I was trying to soak up everything I could from Larry Brown. And he said, the way I saw Larry Brown treat older coaches, every time I was around him, a retired coach, he would bring him in. He would let that guy take over practice. He would let him talk to the team. He showed so much respect to older coaches just to make them still feel special. And he said, I saw that. And he said, I hope my assistants have tried to kind of see that with what I've been trying to do. I've tried to pass that on. He said that he had talked to.
Uh-oh, I think you froze. Hello?
There we go.
There we go. All right, we in there now. Go ahead.
Wi-Fi struggle. But he said that he had called Larry Brown and wanted to tell him that the reason I did what I did with Coach Hall was because of the way I saw you treat other coaches, treat retired coaches, treat coaches who had been fired, try to reach out and support them. And he said Larry Brown was kind of like, you know, when you give somebody a compliment, oh man, he said Larry was kind of like that. But I'm sure that meant a lot to him here having Cal say that, even though he was like, whatever, man, I ain't do nothing. He was trying to do that, but it was cool hearing Cal explain where he learned how to treat other coaches. He said, I've been fired. He said, I've been a fired coach. I've been through it. I got fired from the Nets. You know, and Larry Brown reached out to me. He said, it's tough when you're a fire coach, when you don't have a job. So he said, it was even harder on your wife and kids. And he said, I know what that's like. And so for him to kind of do what Larry did to him and then welcoming Joe B. Hall and just showing those respect for older coaches, it was cool hearing him kind of go in detail and explain that. And it went he gave all the credit to Larry Brown.
That's excellent. And that's really a conscious moment. I mean, because we talk about conscious moments on casual highlights, and it's about how you treat people. It's about soaking that wisdom. And one thing we can take from that is anything in life, not just basketball, but like wisdom about marriage, wisdom about finances, learning from about how to live over 100, over 75, over 80. Mm-hmm. We need those type of people to listen to, because they've been there, done that. Like I'm in my 30s, you in your 40s. So, and how to live longevity, man, I have to ask you what it's like to live in my 40s, and what it's like to live in the 40s. And I can take notes of what to do. You might go take somebody like who's in their 50s. Well, I plan to be here till I'm 50. So I need to take notes from somebody in their 50s. So just the people building relationship that Calipari is doing. And then his, even not just the coaches, but the players see that. That's powerful in itself. Like, hey, he's bringing Joe B. Hall into practice, and we're sitting there soaking this knowledge in from a legend who's coached legends from like 4 or 5 different generations, and seeing stuff. Leonard Hamilton, you know, that you know, bringing him in, you know, and listening and that type of stuff, and hearing the different stories. And you, like, I would love to be a fly on the wall just to hear the stories and the things that we don't see on TV. You know, I think that stuff is awesome.
Leonard was on, which I'd seen the tweet and kind of knew, you know, being from Kentucky, knew the connection. But Leonard was on with Jim Rome the other day, and I turned it on. I saw the tweet. I knew Jim was going to ask me about Joe B, because I just had a feeling with him just passing away. And Leonard was talking about, you know, I had gotten disenchanted with basketball. I was ready to kind of move on from basketball. He was at Austin Peay, and he had put in for a job, he said, at Dow Chemical Company in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was just going to go get a regular job. And that's when Joe B called him and said, hey, come on here and interview for this job at Kentucky. And you talk about a fork in the road moment. Look how different Leonard's life would have been if Joe B Hall doesn't call him. Joe B calls him. He comes and interviews, takes a Kentucky job. And now we've seen what he's done. He was right there for the 78 team when they won it all at Kentucky. Went on to have his own successful head coaching career. All-time winningest coach at Florida State now. So, but he, you know, gives all the credit, you know, to Joe B Hall reaching out and calling him when he was about to step on out of the coaching period.
And look, he recruited Leonard Hamilton recruited Bill Self. Bill Self is from under the Leonard Hamilton tree.
Yeah,
and I saw that. And I said, boy, this stuff connects, bro. And you just be surprised. Like, I'm like, wow, all this. Wait a minute.
You're right, man.
It just amazes me. But hey, we're gonna get you out of here on this question that I know Kansas is playing Kentucky in the SEC Big 12 Challenge this weekend. I feel like they play every year now. I feel like it's either the SEC Big 12 Challenge or they just playing in the Champions Classic. I know you all came off of a loss to Auburn on Saturday. You know, the you know, the status of Auburn being a powerhouse is under review right now for the next several years. I said powerhouse. I didn't say blue blood. I said powerhouse. Because that's under review because of Bruce Pearl's past at Tennessee. But neither here nor there. Give me your thoughts on what's your expectations of this game between Kentucky and Kansas.
And as far as Auburn, we went in on them last week because they only been to 10 NCAA tournaments. So they come on now. Look, they went when Barkley was there his years. Yeah. Chris Porter in '99, they got ranked top 5. You got this team. They made a Final Four in 2018 where they knocked Kentucky out. But let Auburn tell it. They've been here for years, but that's definitely not the case.
Oh no! So,
a lot of this this game Saturday is going to depend on Kentucky. They just got to get healthy. It's just been the injury bug right now. Mm-hmm. That's what's holding them back. We struggle on the road. They played at Notre Dame, got beat, and looked real shaky. Pre-conference schedule was real, generous. Played a lot of cupcakes, and which coming off a 9-16 season last year, I can understand that. Just try to get them all on the same page. Had a lot of transfers coming in, but now that the competition has stepped up, each time on the road, they haven't been able to play a full game because you've having guys injured. So we haven't been able to see them for 40 minutes at full strength. Mm-hmm. At LSU, Severe Wheeler, got caught with a screen out midcourt. He picked the guy up full court, got popped with a screen and injured his neck, so he didn't play in the LSU game. Tata Washington cramped up. He didn't finish the LSU game. Kentucky has a 9-point lead at that time, but you lose your backcourt, and there goes your offense stagnates and it bogs down. You don't have any scoring. They end up losing to LSU. This Auburn game is kind of a carbon copy. Severe Wheeler got popped by a screen again, which they gotta holler out. They gotta communicate, let them know where these screens are coming from, or else everybody's just gonna keep setting back picks on him. Yeah. Tata Washington injured his ankle, and so Kentucky is again up double digits and looking good, and then your backcourt goes out. So, maybe Auburn still comes back and wins, but Kentucky was in control of the game. You look up, it's 17-7 right out the gate. It's 25-15, whatever it was. It still had a lead at halftime, but Kentucky just needs to get healthy. And if we can see them play a full 40 minutes, you kind of like what they got if they got all their pieces. Tata Washington is not playing tonight. They play Mississippi State at 9 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock your time, and then it's on to get ready for Kansas on Saturday. Yeah. So I'm not sure what everybody's status is going to be. If they're healthy, I kind of like their chances against anybody, but they just right now the injury bug is just kind of biting, and it hits everybody at different points in times, and they just kind of going through it right now with particularly in the backcourt. Both point guards getting hurt, and you can't really get a good gauge because they haven't been able to play a full game against a top flight team on the road. Each time you've had dudes going out.
I'm gonna say this about Kansas, and I've been preaching this. I've been telling this for years since Bill Self was there. If you want to beat a Kansas team on the road, and especially at Allen Fieldhouse, and you got to lead, you got to keep your neck on. You got to keep your foot on the neck, because historically, traditionally, however you want to say it, KU teams start out slow. So last Saturday when they went to K-State put like a 50-piece up on them in the first half. K-State historically is terrible under Bruce Weber offensively. Historically terrible.
Yeah.
And then they only scored 25 points in the second half. So and let Abaji get through the lane and score. And they won the game. And I said K-State has pooped their pants again against them. So historically, and this Kansas team, they haven't had this in a couple of years. They have good guard play. You have Brown. You have Remy Martin, the Arizona State transfer, coming off the bench and playing great ball. You have Abaji, the leading scorer, doing his thing. Lightfoot playing pretty good. So I could see us win this game because it's at the house. And then what you're saying with your injuries in the backcourt and the struggles that you're having. But if y'all come in, if Kentucky comes in here and plays and steps up and play, y'all better put your foot on their neck. Texas Tech found out last night about that.
Oh my God. Oh my man. They had him.
I'm like, you got the ball. Why are you shooting a jump shot? Drive to the hole and get fouled.
Yo.
And that blew my mind. And that's why for 15 straight years, Kansas has won the Big 12 because people have not closed it out. Baylor has finally, I believe, has finally figured it out in the Big 12, but nobody else has figured it out. Iowa State, every blue moon figures it out. But if you can, when you play Kansas and you got a lead, it's like, I don't know if you remember the game Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis, and he in that mode where it's like, finish him.
Yeah.
And then if you don't even hit him or finish him, he gets a little bit of life back. And that's what you got to do with the Kansas Jayhawks. You got to finish him. If you got to put up 100 piece on him to finish him, you better put 100 up on him.
Yeah, because Texas Tech just beat them a couple weeks ago down there, right?
Yeah, right.
I was ready to tweet out, Texas Tech sweeps Kansas, and nope. I just put my phone back down when he hit that shot that tied at 86. I'm like, oh.
Traditionally, I can remember when KU played Memphis in the title game, and Memphis could not make any free throws. I'm looking, and I picked Memphis. I said, look at this nonsense. How do you not make no free throws? And then Chalmers hit that shot. I said, well, that's it. That was momentum shift. That's a wrap. They're not winning this. Memphis is not winning this ball game. Kansas will win this game. And that was what it was.
Yep.
Sure that was a wrap. So I totally get it, man. But yeah, Vinny, tell us how we can tell us a little bit about your show and share with us your social media.
Oh, the show is at Cats Talk Wednesday. It's on Twitter at Cats Talk WED. I've been hosting it with Terry Brown going on 8 years now, and Kentucky, sports is the foundation. Kentucky football, basketball, baseball. That's kind of the nucleus of the show. Then we branch out and hit the NBA, the NFL, MLB, little music, little comedy. We've been fortunate to have a lot of cool guests come through. TB and I don't agree on anything except Kentucky because I'm a Cowboys fan. He's a Niners fan, so we've been going at it. I'm a Rockets fan. He's a Lakers fan, so we don't agree on anything except Kentucky. So we talk trash and go back and forth on everything else, and then Kentucky is kind of the centerpiece because he's from Louisville. He's from the big city. I'm from southeastern Kentucky, from the small town. So, but yeah, Kentucky is just kind of the centerpiece. We've had Kentucky players and coaches and different media types, and some music guests, some comedy guests, some foodie guests. And we have little random stuff. We try to have fun with it. Got to have you come through here too now. Got to get.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely be an honor to come on there, man, and chop it up with you. Definitely. You have educated us, informed us, inspired us, gave us a conscious moment as well. Vinny Hardy of Cats Talk Wednesday. Thank you for coming on being a part of Casual Highlights. I pray that everything with your show continues to go well, and you are blessed in everything that you do, sir.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, Al. Honored to be here. And appreciate you reaching out.
You bet. And until next time, guys, this is Al Hygh signing off. You know what it is. God is love, and disrespect your senses.